Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie comes out in December. And the trailer, as of the time I actually did this, it's been a bit since then. I got busy, forgive me, okay? But the trailer came out, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, okay, what do I want to do about this? Because I'm really looking forward to the movie. I know the first one had some mixed reviews. The people who weren't big fans of the franchise didn't really like it, but I've liked Five Nights at Freddy's since like 4th grade, so I loved it. It was great. I saw it twice in one day. Twice. And that was the second movie, so this worked out perfectly. But, so I watched the trailer a few times, and I thought, do I remember what these people look like? And so I decided, you know what? We'll draw them from memory. So, hey guys, I'm Brett. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. If it is a welcome back, hi, it's been a while. I've been meaning to make videos. I think I say that all the time, but the last one was like 2 or 3 years ago, so that's crazy. So we're just going to assume you're new. Hey guys, I'm Brett. I'm a graphic design student in college, and I will be trying to draw the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 animatronics from memory. Specifically just the toy ones. And Balloon Boy, Mangle, and the puppet, because I felt like it. But can you blame a guy, you know? I thought I was going to get this out when it was relevant. It still is relevant. I'm getting it out before December. This video is going to consist of a few different parts, including the intro right here. So hi guys, welcome. I'm Brett. Nice to meet you. How are you doing? I hope your day's lovely. I hope it's going to keep going lovely, and I hope this video doesn't make it any worse. I also want to say that I am a graphic design student. I'm not an illustration student. I am not a digital painting student. But I do know my way around Photoshop, and I have a drawing tablet, so I really like drawing. I am not a professional at it by any means. That is where I come into the graphic design field, which we're going to do a different video with later on. I unfortunately am giving the withered animatronics the Funko treatment, as in I will be ignoring them for this video, and I will not be drawing them because I was trying to get this done quick, but I'm now recording the actual sections for it about a month or two later because I got a little busy. I'm sorry, please forgive me. So we're going to see if I, someone who has liked Five Nights at Freddy's since the 4th grade and my ripe old age of 22 now, can remember what the toy animatronics and Mangle and the puppet and Balloon Boy look like off the top of my head. The only real exposure I had to these designs before I went and did this would be when I watched the trailer a few days ago. As of the time of doing this, I obviously have Toy Freddy up on the screen now, but don't worry. I did not have a picture of him when I made him, so we're going to see what he looks like. But I did that. I didn't use any references because it's purely off the top of my head. So after the speed paint, I decided it would be cool if I put them side by side. So we'll have my design, and then we'll have the actual character art right next to each other. I, as I said, didn't look at much of the character art when I was doing this because it's supposed to be from memory. But I did have my brother go into Google Slides document and put them side by side, so we get the treat of seeing that. Everyone say thank you in the chat. This should be really fun. And I still owe him $5 for doing that because I bribed him into doing it. But without further ado, let's get right into it. First up, we do have Toy Freddy. I will say, out of the toy animatronics, he's probably my least favorite. There's just not a whole lot different with him than the regular Freddy, other than the fact that Toy Freddy, he is a big boy. He's fat, he's chunky, whatever you want to call him. He's a fat guy. He's big. That's how it is. So that's Toy Freddy. I'm pretty satisfied with how he looks. I think the brown is a little bit off. But we will definitely see how he compares to the actual model of Toy Freddy at the end when we get into the comparisons. And next up we have Toy Bonnie. When it comes to being drastically different from the original design, other than Mangle, I feel like Toy Bonnie is the furthest from actual Bonnie. Just because, let's be honest, the original Bonnie, he looks kind of crusty. For example, he's light blue. That's pretty interesting. This Bonnie has makeup on, which I guess is not too different from everyone else, but with the others, it's more like
cheek highlight accents and everything like that. Like, Toy Freddy has like the red circles, Toy Chica has the red circles as well. They all have those colored eyelids for when like the eyes close. I believe in the original game, Chica was the only one who had those colored ones. But I could be wrong. I can be wrong. Fun fact, I am able to be wrong. I could be wrong about the guitar, but I'm pretty happy with how this looks. That being said, we are done with Toy Bonnie, and we will now be moving on to Toy Chica. I'm going to come flat out and say it, I did not go nearly as hard into the more feminine features of Toy Chica that people tend to give Toy Chica in fan art. Toy Chica definitely was a departure from the base Chica model, but more in the fact that she's very sleek and like the very bulky, like regular OG Chica. This is the Toy Chica design. I even got the little cupcake in there because of course I had to get the cupcake. I think technically the cupcake's name is Mr. Cupcake, but I always remember hearing people call it Carl, and I don't remember where I heard that from. But yeah, here's Toy Chica. Pretty happy with it. And now we're going to be moving along right on to Mangle. Now, when it comes to chronological order, I don't remember if Mangle or the puppet came first, because it's been a while since I actually did these speed paints. I did these when I was 6, so I could have something to do. But just for the sake of the video, we're going to put Mangle up next. But here we have Mangle. Mangle has always been a very interesting one. I'm pretty sure it was at least supposed to be a toy version of Foxy. I also will say, and I'm going to talk about this later in the actual reveal and comparison, that I put a lot of work into making sure that the joints would be movable and that they connected with like the right sockets and everything, which I guess, you know, obviously if it's a take apart, put back together attraction, they wouldn't, like the little kids wouldn't be thinking about that. Just, oh, I can stick this with this and it will stick together. My question is, because I never fully understood this, is Mangle possessed? Because if not, I don't know how Mangle is functioning. I don't know how Mangle crawls on the walls with those pads on her fingers. But I don't know how Mangle crawls on the walls either, so it just never made sense to me. So is Mangle possessed? Did we ever figure that one out? But either way, I'm pretty happy with how Mangle turned out, and we will now be moving on to the puppet. Alright, and now we have the puppet or the marionette, but for sake of brevity, I'm just going to be referring to the puppet as the puppet, because that is what I have always known the puppet to be. So one fun little fact that I always remember is that the puppet mask originally did not have like the tear marks on it whatsoever, and that only happened after possession, which is, that's a really cool detail to me. And like, is a retroactive design on Scott Cawthon's behalf? Yes. But is it cool? Yes. So I'm fully here for it. I really wanted to make the puppet lanky and like scrawny because it's a puppet. It should look like it can easily fold up and be put in the box, be hoisted up on wires. I'm actually very proud of like the string work that happens in this one, so it's pretty cool. So I gave the puppet feet, and you can come at me all you want in the comments about it. But I also gave it these like really cool, like there's like the collar that's like real frilly, and then like the top and bottom of like these striped sleeves are also like frilly. And overall, I'm just very happy with how the puppet turned out. So now we will be moving on to the last one, which is Balloon Boy, and oh boy do I have things to say about Balloon Boy. One question I've always had is Balloon Boy an actual animatronic? Because I thought Balloon Boy was just like a statue that they put over in like the balloon section. But clearly Balloon Boy has to crawl around and move, because Balloon Boy crawls through the fence. So if he's not an animatronic, how is he moving? Follow-up question, is Balloon Boy possessed? Who got stuffed into Balloon Boy? Is that an actual thing? Because like with like, the toy animatronics, you can make the excuse that they are possessed because they have like the haunted metal from like the Wizards in them. But Balloon Boy, I can't see why they would be retrofitting any of the parts in there. It just doesn't make much sense to me. But drawing Balloon Boy was pretty easy. I definitely got a few things wrong. But that's okay, because it's a from memory exercise, and I kind of like my design for Balloon Boy better than the actual model, because like, you know, I'm just not a fan of Balloon Boy, I'm gonna be honest. Sorry to like the 3 Balloon Boy fans out there, but like, come on. So here we have Balloon Boy, and I will say, one thing I distinctly remember is one, Balloon Boy crawling through the vents, 2, that annoying laugh, and 3, I know in the actual trailer we get some submechanophobia of Balloon Boy rising up through the water and to come attack I think they're paranormal investigators or something. It's not Mike. And how does that work? Is Balloon Boy a robot? Is Balloon Boy a statue? Is Balloon Boy both? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, but that pretty much wraps up Balloon Boy, and that's the end of our speed drawing section here. This is just a little follow-up section here, just because I don't think I talked about it fully in the comparison part, and I think I give it some spotlight at the end, but I wanted to just bring it to attention here. I have these really nice shaded versions of these characters right here. I just want to show them off because we got the main 3 right here of Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, and Toy Chica. And I tried to mimic the style of the typical Five Nights at Freddy's poster style with the original 3, where it was Bonnie on the left, Freddy in the middle, Chica on the right. Well, then we got the puppet, and I was okay, well, hoist the puppet up by the strings, and I kind of wanted to give it the red and blue lighting from the typical. It's a party. We have the party lights going on overhead, and just put that on there. We're just going to ignore the fact that the Mangle one makes significantly less sense because Mangle is a put together, take apart attraction. So I don't know why Mangle would be able to look at Mangle's self here. It doesn't make much sense, but it looks nice. It really does. I'm very happy with the shading technique. I found the shading technique off of either Instagram or TikTok. It's not typically how I do my shading, but shading is something that I'm still currently in the process of trying to learn. If you guys have any tips, please let me know in the comments below. But then we have Balloon Boy, and Balloon Boy, I will say, it grew on me. I think the balloon shading looks a little bit weird, but I was using the method that I was trying to learn off of Instagram, where it's not learn, it's a little trick really. But yeah, so that's that. I will now let myself pop back up on the camera here and take back over for the actual comparison section, because I got a little bit to say before that. But we will get right back in it, and I will be right back on screen in just 1 second.
So one thing I forgot to mention is that if you wanted to see the speed drawings without any of the talking at the beginning or anything, they will be up on my TikTok. It's the same name as my YouTube channel. I will put it up on the screen as well. But I tend to post over there a bit more just because it's quicker, it's easier to do. I don't have to sit down and actually do this, but stuff from this will be going up on there as well. So, but I got the presentation right in front of me. It's been a while since I've actually seen these, but I have the presentation up on the screen. My brother was very generous. I did see a little sneak peek of what's at the end for him. And it's going to be a little inside joke, so we're going to see if that makes it into the video or not. But we shall see. So, without further ado, we have the FNAF 2 for memory. It says to click to reveal the actual models. So, we're going to get into it. I believe first up is Toy Freddy. I was right. We got Toy Freddy. Toy Freddy's up first. I'm sure I've talked plenty about it in the actual narration section over the speed draw, but just before we get into it, Toy Freddy's always been my least favorite of the Freddys, personally. He's very, I don't know, I don't like him that much. Let's see what we got here. Alright, we have my design on the left over here. Toy Freddy looks about exactly as I remember him looking. I do notice an issue in the coloring, but everybody's their worst critic, right? So, and then we have actual Toy Freddy, which, I was close. His eyes are blue, apparently, but I was close. His bow tie is not red, but I don't think it's the most egregious of it. So, microphone color's wrong. I can nitpick this all day. I don't know why his pelvis area is the same color as his stomach. I don't know. But that's Toy Freddy here. I got the head shape wrong too, which is going to be very interesting with the rest of them. But overall, though, I give myself a pass. I give myself a pass here. I didn't realize he had those rings around his eyes though, which that sucks. Should have put that in there. I'm not going back and redrawing them unless you want me to. Unless you guys want me to, and you want me to redraw them for some reason. I will. I gladly will. It's whatever the people want. I think mine has some charm to it. I'm going to be honest. He's not model accurate. The browns are different. His pelvis isn't the same color as tummy. I know Toy Freddy is typically known to be a very fat guy. He's fat. I made him fat, to my credit. He's pretty chunky in mine. Next up we have Toy Bonnie. And I will confess, I used a reference for this one. But it was only for the guitar. Because I don't remember how people hold guitars. So I looked it up real quickly. I think it made it into speed paint. But if not, this is my confession. I used a reference for the guitar. Toy Bonnie himself, off the top of my head. But we got, there's mine. Very slender. I should have put detailed on the guitar strings. Once again, I'm realizing a whole bunch of issues with the actual coloring and everything. That sucks. Oh well. Then we have actual Toy Bonnie. Okay. So I gave him some white cheeks. I forgot Toy Bonnie's eyelashes. Interesting. But, definitely, it's pretty, I would say it's pretty accurate from memory. Pretty accurate. I'm gonna defend myself here. I also don't know if that's Toy Bonnie's guitar or if that is regular Bonnie's guitar. But, Toy Bonnie, I gotta say, not the worst. Head shape's better than Freddy. That's all I'm gonna say. One thing I'm noticing so far, though, is I have them, like, especially like the feet here, they all look very solid, and if you look at like Toy Bonnie himself, or like Freddy for that matter too, it looks like they can move their toes, and I guess I didn't think about them being able to wiggle their toes. Ugh. Oh well. Alright. Then we got Toy Chica, and I am very proud to admit I did not do any of the enhanced Toy Chica stuff that I did see in the community when I was looking for the actual art for Toy Chica to put up on here. But I will say, my Toy Chica is definitely a lot more classic Chica. I'm going to put up the other one on the screen. I didn't make it hair. I didn't make it hair. And they're like, the eye color's wrong too. At least I didn't make Gooner Toy Chica. That's all I'm saying. But I knew something was off with this when I was making it. I guess I didn't think it would be hair up top, okay? Is like the hair metal? Is that what it is? Or like is the shell metal? Or are they plastic? They look plastic. So maybe that's what I call toys. Bonnie's the most accurate so far, I will say. Alright, next up we have Mangle. And oh boy, I want to defend myself here. So we're going to get it up on the screen. I have a lot more experience with monopods and like tripods. Like, here's mine from work. As you can see, it's got these little like connecty bits right here. But I'm a lot more familiar with camera stands than I am robotic pieces. But to my credit, I will say, I wanted to make sure that the like hinges would actually bend. Because that's something I thought, like, I don't want to just slap a whole bunch of random stuff on there and just call it a day. So, here's mine. So, we got mine. And I'm going to talk about it after I put the actual one out there. We're going to put that one side by side with Mangle. And I gotta say, I don't think I did too badly with this one. I definitely think Toy Freddy's still the most egregious one. Mangle definitely in the head area has a bit more Foxy going on. I think I was thinking of Funtime Foxy with like the face, because it's pink up here and no pink on like the snout. But I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't think I did too horrible with Mangle. In fact, I think I did pretty good because I'm not too sure what's going on in actual Mangle's design. But I got the tripodness of Mangle's stance actually down, which is great. That's really neat. In mine, all of the parts are used, I will say. Mangle's stuff looks like gloves, fabric gloves. So you see like the old Chuck E. Cheese animatronics. But I don't think I did too bad. I don't think I did too bad with Mangle. I will die on this hill. I think it's great. I did give Mangle a red bow, but I think I also gave Freddy and Bonnie a red bow. So we each made the red bow a theme. thematics. They're a unit. They go together. They all got their red bow ties on. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I also made sure all the joints connected and actually would be functional. So like the ball sockets are like ball sockets like you'd have like your shoulder. Like the hinge is like the hinges you'd have near like your elbow. Just overall, I'm proud of myself on this one. I will give this one the pass. Ooh, and then we have the puppet. And I remember this one. I was so proud of this one when I got it done. Because look at that. That just looks great. It looks very puppet-like, obviously. I had to put the strings in there, which I think is really interesting because the puppet doesn't actually have strings in the game. Because, you know, it's possessed. But I was like, okay, I wanted to make it look all limp and everything. So I was like, well, put strings in there. It'll be a nice feature. And I think it was a nice feature. And then we will compare the puppet to the actual puppet. And clearly I took some creative liberties in some areas. I also gave the puppet feet because I don't understand why the puppet doesn't have feet. It doesn't make any sense now that I'm looking at it. Because you have the fingers, right? I'm not going to show you my feet. But it never made sense to me that the puppet didn't have feet. And clearly I was thinking that while I made this because you get to like these stripe bits in the end and then boom, no foot whatsoever. If you look at those like little marionettes that they put in like the, I don't know why I did this, like I have one in my room, I don't. Hello? Ah, okay. My cat's in here now. She got granted entrance. We have a security breach, if you will. But it never made sense with me with the puppet why the puppet doesn't have feet. If you want to get nitty gritty with it, the puppet doesn't have these frivolous things at the end of the sleeve. And like, I get that. But it just looks so nice. It looks so nice and it gives it such a quality where it's like, yeah, like court gestures and everything. And it's just like, okay, cool, I'm putting it on there. So then finally, we have Balloon Boy. And I don't like Balloon Boy. I'm going to be fully honest. I don't. Balloon Boy is arguably my least favorite part. But we have Balloon Boy. He's a boy. He has balloons. There's not much to say about that. And then Balloon Boy next to the actual Balloon Boy is about the same. He has like one balloon instead of three, but it says balloons. I guess in mine he's a little less enthusiastic about there being balloons. His nose is a triangle though, which is interesting. And there are some differences. I think if I had to say, I think I would... Oh, I gotta click back all the way through here. I think the most different though is arguably Toy Freddy and then maybe the puppet. Overall, I would say I did a pretty good job. I'm not going to explain it, but if you know, you know. That's all I'm going to say. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how I did. I do think I took certain creative liberties in areas that vastly improved them. I like the arm frivels on the puppet. I think they look really nice. Hold on, we have a visitor. Would you like to say hi, Kiara? Would you like to say hi? Yeah, she says hi. You should say hi back. It's rude to not. So she's gonna go. And she expects that hi, by the way. Just saying. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. Thank you for stopping by. It's been a while since I made a YouTube video, so it's going to be a bit of a process remembering fully how to do it. This editing should be interesting because this video is completely off the top of my head. I have a much more scripted and structured video that I'm working on that I should have out hopefully soon. I just want to get back into making YouTube videos because with all the AI stuff on the internet, like, I don't think my videos are going to hurt anybody. And like, I missed making them. I missed making YouTube videos. So here we are. I have this video camera from work. So I figured I could use it at least. And I am. I'm getting my money's worth. It's great. And like, it's pretty good quality compared to like my other videos. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you want me to do something else like this in the future. If you liked the video, fantastic. If you didn't like the video, I'm always open for constructive feedback and it's always greatly appreciated. But that's all I got. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you around. Alright, bye-bye.